Hello children, welcome back to Orchid School. My name is Mrs. Tina D'Souza and I'm going to be your class teacher for Standard 4A. Children, you all love listening to stories, isn't it? So you know what? Today I'm going to tell you a very beautiful story. But before we start, I want all of you to understand one thing, and that is listening skills. Very important, children. When someone is speaking to you, you need to listen carefully and understand what that person is speaking. Listening with understanding is called effective listening. Effective listening helps us to understand things better. So kids, remember listening skills, and you need to maintain this discipline throughout. Okay? So let's get started. The story is from English Balbharati book. Lesson number 2, Aesop's Fables. Fables are short stories that have a moral or message for us, something to learn and keep in mind as we grow up. Most of the fables have animal characters who think and act just like human beings. Many of the fables were first told by a wise person called Aesop. Wise means very clever. Aesop lived hundreds of years ago in a country called Greece. His stories became so popular means well known, that people pass them on from generation to generation. Generation means members of the same family born and living at the same time. Look at this picture, children. What do we see in this picture? Yes, grandparents, parents, and children. Many proverbs and sayings that we use today are based on these fables. Proverbs are, children, short sayings that is mostly used to express a truth. Example, the proverb, practice makes perfect, means anything is possible through consistent practice. That is, if we practice anything, no matter how difficult it is, but if we practice it continuously, then someday we will become perfect. The next proverb, action speaks louder than words, means what you do is more important than what you say. Is that clear, children? Good. Now, children, in this story we have two well-known fables, and one of them is the stag at the pool. A stag is a male deer. And can you see those horns on his head, children? They are called the antlers. Now, one day, a beautiful stag came to a pool of clear water. As he bent down to drink, he saw his own reflection in the water. Reflection means the image of something in a mirror or water. He was delighted. Delighted means very happy. He was delighted with what he saw. Instead of drinking water, he kept looking at his own reflection. "How handsome I look," he said to himself. "How beautiful are these curving antlers." Remember, children, what did I tell you? What are antlers? Yes, they are the horns that grow on the head of a male deer. And who is a male deer, children? What is a male deer called? Very good, a stag. How they add to my beauty. How graceful they look. Graceful means very beautiful. Then he moved nearer and saw his legs reflected in the pool. He was quite disgusted. Disgusted means feeling strong dislike. Dislike is the opposite of like. Look at my legs. Ah, they are so ugly, all spindly with small feet. Spindly means, children, long and thin. How I wish that nature had given me legs worthy of my stately antlers. Stately means grand. Now, children, the stag feels very sad about his legs, which are so ugly, and he says to himself that God has made me so wonderfully. I am so beautiful, but my legs do not match my beautiful antlers. So he is very sad about it. As he was brooding in this way, brooding means to think sadly for a long time, the stag heard an arrow going swish across the pool. Swish means, children, when something passes through the air quickly, it makes a rushing sound, and this sound is known as swish. At the same time, he could pick up the scent of the hunters. Did you know, children, animals have a very sensitive nose? They can sense the smell of human very quickly. So the stag got frightened as he seen the hunter. Therefore, with a quick turn, he bounded away. Bounded means to run quickly with long steps. The hunters were hot on his trail. Hot on his trail means they were almost very close to the stag, but they were no match for his speed. That means they could not catch him. Soon the stag left the hunters far behind. Safe and out of the hunters' reach, the stag slowed down. Suddenly, without realizing, he walked into a thicket. Thicket is a large group of trees or bushes growing close together. Children, when many trees or bushes grow close to one another, they form a thicket. And alas, alas means at last, the same antlers of which he was so proud got caught in the thick growth. The stag tried to shake himself free, but the more he struggled, the more entangled his antlers got in the branches. Entangled means to get caught in something, to get trapped. Once again, the stag could hear the hunters drawing close. Drawing close means coming nearer. And he grew afraid. Grew afraid means he got frightened. At last, with great difficulty, he managed to free his antlers and bounded away. I was so proud of these handsome antlers, but they would have been the cause of my death. I realize now that my ugly feet saved my life. Very often, children, we dislike the very things that are most useful to us. Dislike means the opposite of like. The things which are most useful to us, children, we tend to dislike them. So the moral of the story is utility is important than beauty. Utility is the use of something, which is very important to us, children. But beauty is really not that important because it is just temporary. It doesn't stay with us forever. Did everyone understand the story, children? Was it interesting? Yes? Oh, very good. Now, children, I will be asking you few questions to know how well you understood the story. So, are you ready, children? Here we go. The first question name the person who told these fables. Yes, Aesop was the first person who told these fables. Very good. What did the stag like about himself? Excellent, children. The stag liked his antlers because they added to his beauty. What was the stag unhappy with and why? Correct. The stag was unhappy about his legs because they were all thin and spindly with small feet. Very good, children. Now, children, we have a small activity, that is listen and say. So, children, you need to listen carefully to the words that I'm saying and then repeat after me with the correct pronunciation. All right? The first word, generation, reflection, antlers, disgusted, thicket, entangled. Very nice, children. So, children, that's all for today. Very soon we'll be meeting in the next session where I will be telling you the next fable, that is the dog in the manger. Until then, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye, my children.